for there because the brand was one of the sponsors for the Global Citizen concert. We'll go to the concert.
That was a huge concert.
With Beyonce, yeah.
Yeah, and Trevor Noah was the host. Like you're just saying a concert like it's tiny.
So, again, that brand has become very problematic, so I won't name them because I see what they're doing. I'm like, hey, thank God I worked with them back then before they lost their senses. But, so...
Guys are Googling now.
Now I'm stressed because I have like one leave day. I'm stressed. I have one leave day, but I have to hit the savings goal. The goal is to resign. How am I going to do this?
Wow.
So I'm like, there must be a way. Before I've even cracked that one, I get another email.
What?
From an
what year are we right
We're
now?
in 2018. Okay. All of this is happening fast and furious. And I have one leave day. So I get an email from an organization called The Moth. They are an NGO dedicated to the art and craft of storytelling. They're very important because they taught me the power of storytelling, which I use in my podcast.
Yeah.
And they're family to date. So this email, they're like, yo, we have the global program and we're coming to Naivasha. We take different people who are doing projects in the community or benefiting the community, and we give them skills to learn how to use their stories for better impact and how they can help others tell their stories to create impact. I'm like, gosh, that sounds like something I want. And also, I need to do every opportunity because I don't know what the hell I want to do after I leave KISS. All I know is that I want to leave. It had gotten so bad, my anxiety was terrible. When my alarm would ring to go to work, I would puke.
What? Okay.
I hated my job. I hated my job so much. And the more I stayed there,
what was it? Did you feel like it was controlling your life? Or what was it?
It just didn't fit in with who I was anymore. You know, now I'm 29 at that time. I'm 29.
Are you married at this time?
I'm married. I got married. In fact, I got married in 2017, and the plan was I was meant to quit my job that year. But then I was like, dude, these are two major things I want to do in 1 year. First, now I have a permanent sleepover buddy. And then on top of that, I will not be employed. I will stagger these things, kiasi. So we staggered them, but you know, my partner Fal knew I hated my job. Actually, there's no one in my life and my inner circle who did not know. My best friend had gotten so tired of hearing it that when I eventually resigned, she partied harder than me. So,
and for you, the resigning was the fear of like, listen,
the unknown and failure.
Oh.
And
that's
you constantly, you're hearing people say, this was not told to me, but there were presenters who sometimes would say they'd been told, you're nothing with this microphone. Nobody ever walks away from Radio Africa. I'm like, why? And so it was like wondering, and I kept wondering, what's wrong with me? Why can't I sit here and just get this paycheck happily? Look at all these others. They're just sitting happily getting this paycheck. You Nini, why are you kissing and you want to move to the next thing? But I think I was just over it. I was so over it. It wasn't a challenge. It wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't in line with my purpose at all. And I was aware of it. So it was so uncomfortable. I can't tell you how it was so, I've never experienced something like that. It was so uncomfortable. And you know, the industry, there's games against each other. Like, I was just like, this is not me. This is not me. But then, what is me? And I don't want to be broke.
Soft life is good.
It's good. So I go for this more thing. I have one leave day. One leave day left. And you can't borrow from the next year. So I'm like, here, itabidi. I just become a mjanja kiasi. So I call my auntie Jane, who's like the G'd up person in my family. I'm like, yo, this is a situation, blah, blah, blah. And in fact, when I had one leave day, my partner and I had gone to Lamu for our anniversary in 2018. Then I got the email while I was in Lamu. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, I need to go for this thing. Like, can you have one leave day because we came on this trip? What am I going to do? So I called my Auntie Jane. She's like, don't worry. When you come, I'll get you a doctor's note. I'll sort you out. I'm like, I'm sorry. So, and this one is fun. Everybody has done this. Even you who's watching, you've done it. Don't judge me. You're doing it now. That's why you're at home watching. Not work from home. You're sick. So
You're only guilt bado iko.
yeah, hey man. Because I told you, I'm not really good at like.
Yeah.
So we devise a plan. So I get back, and the Naivasha workshop was starting the day after we land from Lamu. So it means I can't show up at work at all from Lamu. So my aunt gets the doctor's note. She gives it to my partner, Fal. He gets into character. First, we land from Lamu. I go home, drop my bag, pack another bag. He drives me to Naivasha. He drops me in Naivasha. He comes back. He ensures now the next morning he gets the doctor's note from Auntie Jane. Then he has to get into character when he's delivering this doctor's note to my boss, which he did. And he looked distressed. A spouse whose partner is very sick. That time I'm in a spy, rolling my leg, storytelling. So I think even Caroline called me. I didn't know this, so Caroline. She called me when I was in a Nashpai, and she was on bed rest, I believe. And I was like, even me, I'm resting on a bed. That's all I can tell you. And she shook and shut and just laughed. So I was like, yeah, I'm resting on a bed. Anyway, so I go through that. I loved it. I loved that workshop.
Yeah.
I worked on a story about grief and my mom. And so that's 2018, and we'll come back to that story, to that workshop. But then now I come back to work. I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling better. But now there's this issue of essay.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, what will I do?
One leave day.
And this one, Tena, is paying. You know, this other one was a workshop, skills, training. I need to do this, man. I love Beyonce. Bruv. I'm not gonna. Who can stand between me and the queen? Who is that person? Anyway, we develop another. Auntie Jane comes through. Auntie Jane comes through. And so I remember even that campaign, I was doing it with Julie Gishuru.
Yes.
We were now the two reps from Kenya for that particular campaign. So when we get into the plane, we're seated. Julie's like, oh yeah, let's take it. Julie is also somebody who has supported my career. Even that trip, she really affirmed my feelings about the media industry. That's her story to share. But she really made me feel like I was not awkward for wanting to get out. She made me feel like that's a strength. It means you've hung on to your humanity. It means you are very aware of your purpose. Go for it.
You're also so privileged to have had those women to have converse with.
Yes. The flight from here to SA, we just talked about it. Because now I told her, hey, don't take a picture with me in it. Because meanwhile, another thing you do when you do these things, you block your bosses on social media. I'm like, I might have blocked them, but maybe they're on your page. Okay, I'll take the photo of you.
I swear. Adelle, you are gangster.
So the trip flight there, I really opened up about what I was feeling, my anxiety.
Oh, nice. You had somebody to talk to.
Yeah, and who
had been there.
Yeah, she had been there. She affirmed everything that I'd gone through.
A lot of people don't even know Julie was on Citizen.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
And so she really made me feel less awkward, less alone, less ungrateful of this space. Of this opportunity, of this job, or whatever. So we get to SA, we have a great time. We're touring projects in different townships and blah blah blah. doing some amazing things. And then we go for a dinner and the heads of this company are there. It's a global company. The heads are there, blah, blah, blah. We're sitting. And there was one girl they'd gotten people from different countries. So India, the chick from Germany, the UK, the States, blah, blah, blah. And the one from India was a radio presenter. So she says, yeah, I'm a radio presenter. One of them was a radio presenter. One of them runs Humans of Bombay. It's a big platform. And
it's like Humans of New York.
It's like yeah. And
Humans
she's
of Bombay.
Fantastic. So she says she's a radio presenter, and I'm seated opposite one of the heads. So she says it, and I said, oh, me too. And the head, the person who has gotten me for this job, goes like, oh, you're a radio presenter. So I'm like, yeah, Connie, why did you guys call me for this trip? Like, we didn't know. We just knew that stuff you were doing around like standing up for women's rights. And I tell you, that was so affirming for me, because it meant
they're not even calling you because of your radio.
So if I leave radio,
it
is okay.
Oh.
It is okay. So at the end of that trip, we go for this Beyonce concert. They put us in like sorry, I'm just going to be a Shags model here now, because I was so blown away by that treatment. They put us in so you're in a stadium, but you're in the suite at the top, right? I go to the bar with my independent woman with my pass. I want la. How much is that? It's like, everything. There's no paying. I'm like, okay, then 2. I'm walking
Make
back.
Make it a triple.
Right? I'm walking back to where we're seated. I meet Charlemagne.
Oh.
I even said, Charlemagne. I wasn't calling him. I said it like, and then he turns, so now I had to say, oh, hi. Because now I'm so embarrassed. Danai, the chick the warrior from Black Panther, was right there with us. We had a lunch with her earlier in the day. Just talked about some of the projects she has in her home country. It was so affirming. Then Beyonce gets on stage. I always say, Beyonce helped me hand in my resignation because she got on stage. Maybe it was also the drinks, but she got on stage. First, the chick from Germany is crying. She's red. There's another energy when Beyonce says she's red. Then people are just throwing out affirmations of what they're going to do. So when I go back home, I'm going to hand in my resignation. Hey, we're all.
What do you mean, Yoko in the booth?
Yeah, we're now screaming. We're screaming while Beyonce is on stage. Saying,
but you're screaming for your...
What I'm going to do. Everyone is screaming what they're going to do when they go back to their home countries. This thing that they've feared doing. Because we're watching this woman on stage and we're like, she's living such a full life with intentionality and bringing her best self on stage. Exceptional performances. Why are we scared to live a full life as well? Right? Sorry to get deep about Beyonce, but honestly, that was what it was. I was like, there's such a big world. How have you decided this small part of your story is the one that will stop you from even reading the other chapters? Are you kidding me? Like, can you just get it together and go home and do what you need to do? Which is what I did. And that was December now.
So you came back?
I came back. I printed December 26th. I had Christmas with my family, which I loved, on 25th. And that reminded me that I'd missed, because of my job, I'd missed hanging out with my sisters because it was so demanding.
So did you come back first of all and go to job?
Yeah,
okay,
but
so
then now feeling better because, Auntie Jane. So then now when I printed, in fact, I still remember we didn't have a home office at the time, so we didn't have a printer at home or whatever. So we went to Diamond Plaza to print because now I can't print my nini at the office.
Yep.
My resignation letter. And please note, my resignation letter, I'd been editing it every year. You know that line it's been a great 3 years working here. It's been a great 4 years working. It's been a great my best friend was over it. She's just like, oh my goodness. So we go and print. I tell my partner, go, you go print and make sure no one is looking. I don't want to print. Because you're just so scared.
Yep.
And then I went to work and I said, if my CEO, my head of radio, and my PC, programs controller at the time are at work, then that's the universe telling me today is the day to hand in your resignation, because during Christmas time it's a ghost town. People don't come to work. And when I went to work, all 3 were there. So I just handed it in.
Who did you give it to?
I gave first to my programs controller. He was shocked. I was just like, hey man, it is what it is. And he knew my grievances. I'm like, you've not hired a team, you've not done certain things. Then I gave to my programs controller. I mean, my head of radio. Now Pete. Pete was like, where are you going? Just tell me, who are you going to? And I remember telling him, Pete, you know, I can even go back to school to study to be a doctor. Literally, I can do anything in this world.
Oh.
I literally can.
That's what had happened to you.
Yeah,
the shift.
The shift was so clear. I was like, I can literally do anything in the world. I can live this life, this chapter, closed and behind me.
Yo.
I can do anything I want to do. And then he gave it to, then I gave one to HR. I think that was the stipulation of my contract. And then HR then communicated to
Your boss.
PQ, yeah.